Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another Exhumed movie review. Today we're going to be talking about City of the Dead, aka Horror Hotel. So one of my creepy royalty, Josh, aka JG from NC, asked me to review this movie as one of his perks for being creepy royalty. And I did realize it was also suggested to me a while ago by Macabrella, who is also one of my patrons. Thank you both for suggesting this movie to me, and to all of my other creepy patron peeps for your support of my channel. Thank you so much. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, you can follow that link in the description. Right, so in City of the Dead, a young college student arrives in a sleepy Massachusetts town to research witchcraft. During her stay at an eerie inn, she discovers a startling secret about the town and its inhabitants. So, a little bit about the movie. Like I said at the beginning, this movie does have an alternate title called Horror Hotel. As you would have seen on the movie info card, City of the Dead is a UK horror film, and the movie was re-released as Horror Hotel in the States, although it was heavily edited to omit some of the parts, particularly the opening scene where the witch, the main antagonist of the movie, is burned at the stake, which is like a major plot point. So I'm curious as to how that movie played for audiences when it just completely took out like the whole point of the movie. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, let's get into what I liked about City of the Dead. For one thing, old school horror, like the way they treat witches in movies just is so funny to me. Like any witch, anybody who considers themselves Wiccan or pagan will tell you that there's no Satan in most of these like pagan religions. So it's just funny, you know, that, you know, old school horror is always like, obviously they're Satan worshippers if they're witches, duh, which is so not true. And I love how like that portrayal kind of comes across in the movie. Like at the beginning of the movie, like I said, when our main witch antagonist, Elizabeth Selwyn, is being burned at the stake, when the mob of angry townspeople comes to get her, she literally like hisses at them, like, you know, that a little bit, like, which I think is so funny. Like, it's just, of course witches hiss, duh. Kind of like an interesting point, which I thought was kind of cool. The plot was actually super similar to Psycho. I'm definitely going to talk about spoilers here. So like I said in the summary, our story is centered around Nan, who is a college student, and she's researching witchcraft for a paper. So her professor, played by Christopher Lee, suggests that she goes to Whitewood, where Elizabeth Selwyn was burned at the stake. That was a lesson he was giving at the beginning of the movie. So you assume that Nan is the main character of the story, and she is killed, sacrificed by the witches halfway through. And I thought that was really interesting because it was very similar to the plot of Psycho with Marion Crane. And even more interesting, it came out the same year as Psycho. This is a 1960 horror film, which I thought was so cool. Like, it's just a really weird coincidence, you know? And I also really love, this movie does have a lot of silly elements. So again, I'm gonna give something else away, which is probably really obvious when you watch the movie anyway. So we start off with Elizabeth Selwyn being burned at the stake, and she places a curse upon the town, asks Lucifer to save her. And then you find out she's been living in Whitewood this whole time. She's immortal, whatever. Although she's changed her name to Mrs. Newless, which is Selwyn backwards.
Bog, it's Goblin spelled backwards.
Just like one of those like silly things, like as an audience member, you know, it's kind of that dramatic irony, like the audience knows something that the characters don't. Well, I'm sure it's like very obvious to any audience member watching, like any viewer watching, like you're just like, hello, Newless, it's Selwyn backwards, you idiots. Like, why can't anyone figure this out? All right, let's get into what I didn't like about City of the Dead. The dialogue is a bit, it does leave a lot to be desired. I know this is an older movie, but there are just like some parts, like the dialogue is overly descriptive. The shop owners in the town, Patricia Russell, she becomes involved with Nan's brother, who goes to Whitewood to find out what happened to Nan. And of course they end up having to face off against Elizabeth Selwyn and her group of witches. But like Patricia, like she I guess she feels the need to describe everything that's happening. So there's like a scene at the end where they're trying to sacrifice Patricia. Nan's boyfriend is, you know, kind of off in the distance trying to help, and they shoot, like they stab him to stop him from, sorry, I'm giving away everything. They stab him to stop Nan's brother from saving Patricia, but he's not quite dead. Like, he gets up and Patricia's just like straight up like, he's getting back up, he's still alive and stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, shut up, like, you're gonna give it away. She just like feels the need to describe everything, which is funny. And also at the beginning of the movie, like the townspeople. So when Elizabeth is tied up at the stake and she's literally saying, I place a curse upon this town. She literally says that. And then it cuts to like one of the townspeople in the audience. She's like, curse. She's placing a curse. And then the whole, like the rest of the people, you hear like, you know, random voices like, curse, curse, oh my God, a curse. Like, I don't know if that was intentionally done to be silly, but it just comes off as silly. Just like, I don't know. I don't think this was meant to be a comedy, so that's why I put it in my dislikes. I think it's maybe not the best writing of dialogue. I also wish Christopher Lee's role in all of this was revealed a bit later. So sorry, another spoiler alert, just gonna talk about the whole movie. It turns out he is also involved with Elizabeth Selwyn, which is why he recommended Whitewood to Nan. But I feel like they reveal that way too early on, and I think it would have been a nice twist if they had left it to later in the movie that he is a witch as well. So was City of the Dead worth it? I say sure. I thought it was a pretty interesting movie, and you can also watch it in the context of it being a little bit silly, and you can have fun watching it as well with some of the really, you know, unnatural and funny dialogue. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't that bad, I'll be honest. On IMDb, it has a 6.8 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 67% critic score and a 66% audience score. That's pretty good. And nothing on Roger Ebert. The way I watched this was from Johnny Necropolis here on YouTube. He is a old school horror host. He does do other videos as well, but a lot of his channel is him hosting horror movie showings on his channel, which is really cool. And he is criminally undersubbed. Seriously, the amount of effort that he puts into his videos it's so cool. It is a really cool channel, and I watched this a while ago on his channel. And if you want proof, you can see I commented on the video, and you can see how long ago I commented on it. So then when it was suggested again, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just watch it on Johnny's channel again. So I highly, highly recommend his channel. It's such a good channel, seriously. And it's free to go, you know, it's free to go watch it on his channel. So I'm gonna leave a link to that video and his channel in the description box, and I highly recommend you check out his other videos, and I am positive you guys will subscribe to him after you at least just check out like a few seconds of his video. It's so good. Anyways, enough about that. So if you've seen City of the Dead, aka Horror Hotel, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. Of course, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here and become a Creepy Peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye!